What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for following along. If you're new here, I'm just gonna go over quickly the stocks that I'll be looking at this morning. It is Monday morning, the 8th, at roughly 9:30. So 9:36. So the market's been open for a few minutes now, and usually I would go over all this information myself, like just sort of see if I need to do anything really quickly, any fast trades, and then edit and then post. But this morning, I'm just gonna do it as I go. This is completely unplanned. I'm just gonna look at it as I and video as I look, and just kind of give you guys my first overall impressions. And if you follow along, you already know that this is um, just pretty much based off of overbought or oversold conditions. So I'll just mainly be looking at the RSI and the MACD, and especially like Amazon right now, it's dipping back down. I've been noticing this morning, so it's not quite middle of the trend yet, but with this being at 39, just noticing the strength is way low here. This MACD line is back to neutral almost. So like this is something I would definitely be putting in just a good price buy. I might not be buying it right where it's at, but because these are so low, um, I'm definitely putting something right there, just right below it. It's easy as that. And I'm sure there's people that are way more methodical about how they buy and sell stocks, but over the past few years of trading, this is what I found that's the most lucrative for me, that I can also walk away from and go do whatever else I need to do and come back. And so um, I just realized that I was talking to the computer for like 30 minutes and it stopped recording. So now I need to know. I'm going to make sure that I pay attention to the record light up here and make sure that I'm recording. So to um, go over what I just said, I'll try to make it shorter this time. So I'm not quite live now, but I did go through everything this morning. Um, it's 10:30 now. So RSI on IVV is turning. We'll be looking for buys down here. It's still topped out. You can check that on the weekly and the daily. It's um, looking for the next crash on S&P. The same on S&P futures, which is the micro future is right here /MES. The full size would be just /ES, but I'm still gonna make a futures video coming up soon. If you don't know what futures is or don't trade futures, but in short, I would have shorted this position here because of this RSI if I was behind the computer. And this requires sort of being at the computer more. This is why I don't do futures that often, because you have to really be at your desk. But that would have been a decent short for me because of all these. It's been the highest position the S&P has ever been up here at 7,600. And then you see a condition like this where the RSI is way overbought, and that would have been a great short. And if you multiply this $200 stock price movement by the times 5 multiplier, that could have been about $1,000. So that's where that comes really profitable to do futures. And then you see this RSI come way down to -20 right here, and that could have been a good spot to obviously get out of your short position and then buy there. But this, where this is at, is considered a 50% pullback because of this run here. It's pulled back approximately halfway, so that's a 50% pullback. And then you can see the RSI is at 50, so it's right in the middle. And that would mean to me that I'm not really interested in a buy or sell at this point. And another thing you got to look out for with futures is mark your next expiration. So June 18th is what I have here. That being said, we're getting closer to expiration. So it's just something you have to look out for. So yeah, but I'll talk about that in another video. Pretty much for today, the biggest changes I see is Amazon right now is looking really low, and it's starting to turn, but we'll see how much it reaches this oversold condition down here. Middle of the trend is down here, so I went ahead and put a couple of buys, one at a little bit above fair value, one down here a little bit below fair value, and obviously if it keeps going to the bottom of this trend, I'll get in more and more. GEV looking low, so but here it's looking fair on the trend, so I'm looking at, let's see, 924, which is pretty close right here. So if it dips a little bit lower to a fair price, I'll grab another GEV. Apple is lingering at the top, so I have a sell up there. Right below that, that's a stop market. I might switch it to a trail. That's at 304, and that's 314, so we're $10 off. So might as well trails are typically better than stops, because if it keeps growing, it's at least going to move with it. So it's at the same spot, but if this continues to rise, it will rise with it and stop me at a better profit. You can see we were in an Apple at these lows, not that low. Let's see, wait for it to reset here. 248. So we were in over here, and then here is my average. So a good average for the middle of this trend line, and that's what we're looking at getting out. And then obviously if it comes back down, we have a 5 limit here, which I'll probably switch this to a ladder and get in one here, one here, one here. I like to split my buys up, so we'll probably split that up. But you can see the Cobra here that I talk about often. This Cobra right here looks okay. Well, it's at 9 on the MACD, and you can tell by looking previous that all these high moments are 3 and 4, and we're at 9. So this just seems extremely overbought, and we're going to wait for it to come back down. NVIDIA is also pointing down, so we're looking for a good price to get into NVIDIA. Here's the middle of my trend, 193. I have a buy there. So, and as I mentioned a minute ago, but it wasn't recording, a lot of times I will set a buy almost as a notifier, so that it'll ding on my phone, right? And if I don't have a lot of time to sit here and determine how many shares I want to buy, I'll just put in a buy for what I think a good price is here, and then when it goes off on my phone and says you just bought NVIDIA, for example, I can pull it up and see what the chart is doing on the app. And if it's still coming down, I'll just wait, or maybe put in another buy down here, like this. And then, which doesn't hurt anything, you're just going to be getting a better deal. And then if it's turning, I'll get in. I might get in heavier because it's bullish and it's going back up. And another thing that I wanted to mention is that it never hurts to put in like a good deal. If you have a bid, if the current price is 208 and you can bid 175, you can, if it hits that, if a candle opens and sells all the way down and then comes right back up, which does happen, I wouldn't say it's very common, but it does happen, then you could have this share right here for 175 and it's worth 200. So that's a $25 difference right there. And sometimes you could see that buy would take over one crazy move in the market, and if that was say four buys, four shares there, then that would be $100. So like I said, it doesn't happen often, but it happens often enough to where it's worth trying. So it's never, I wouldn't say never hurt you, but it's most likely, it doesn't hurt to put some buys down where you think you can grab them. So Pfizer, like I said, I was doing this live, but this was now that we're actually recording, I went ahead and put in 10 here. I'm not maxed out on my shares on Pfizer, but Pfizer does have a good dividend, so it's paying for all these shares that are in here. Is the dividend pays more than the cost to borrow the money. So you could get into Pfizer heavily, right, because of this low. It's sitting low on the trend, and this could potentially grow back up to where it was one day in the 50s. Here it was close to 50, and then here it got above 50. So you have two ways of looking at this. You could get in heavily, or you could just trickle in over the next few weeks and get in slow. And to me, something that is lingering at the bottom for this long, I just kind of want to wait and make sure that it is going up. So instead of, and I see it doing a lot of sideways stuff as well. So that's why I'm only getting in 10 more shares at $25, $250 right there. So I getting in slow and just hitting the bottom, buying the bottoms, because it's up to you. It's up to your risk levels. Do you want to just dump $5,000 on Pfizer right here and see if it goes? And that'd be great. But because it does a whole lot of sideways there, and then if you go back, there was a lot of sideways here. I would just rather get in on each one of these lows and be patient than just dump a lot of buying power into it right now. So that's why I'm just getting in low there. So Palantir and Microsoft both almost reached break even. It's been low for quite a while, but my break even is 166, roughly right here. So it reached my break even. I didn't sell anything, obviously. I'm waiting for this to breach through my break even. Honestly, that's all that is. If you got in here, then you could have seen this RSI here at 53, and maybe with this price action could have profited something there, or with this one definitely took a stop loss right here and profited that. But to me, you got all this previous volume back here averaging around 180, and we're at 166. So I have a low cost analysis. I would buy more right here, honestly, but I think I'm tapped out for Palantir, so we're just waiting. And the same with Microsoft, basically just waiting. Once we recover, we'll start looking at a sell, but we got to recover first. Visa, we tapped the bottom of this trend and we bounced on the RSI oversold condition quite a bit, and before we started to see this uptick, and now we're seeing a bullish condition a little bit. We didn't get out here because that was still low on the. All right, so the middle of my trend would be like here. So this little peak here didn't quite reach the middle of fair price. So we're still very below fair price. If you have more to give into Visa, I would say it's still a buy down here. But we aren't selling yet just because we're not even at fair price. So I think 360, I'll start looking at a sell. But I'm not interested in selling anything this low. Royal Caribbean, definitely waiting on the next uptick. It's at the lower end of the trend. that's a buy for me. Obviously, I bought more at when the RSIs were low, so here and here. This would have been a good dip down here. The strength is a little high right now, but the price is still low, and it's at the low end of the trend. So depending on if you want to wait for this RSI to come back down and see if this follows, you might get a better deal, or even this is still considered a buy for me, because fair price would be 323, somewhere up here. So that's it on Royal. And then Broadcom, man, we reached two conditions here, and I would consider even it being the highest price would be third condition. So when you're talking about conditions, like basically indicators, what three indicators are we lining up with? So we had, if you have one indicator happening, it could be a good sign to buy or sell, right? If you have two lined up, it's more, it's basically more reason for your calls to either buy or sell. If you have three indicators lined up, it's you can be more confident in that trade, right? So RSI having one indicator here, RSI is above, all right, and then the second indicator was my trend line. So I have to slide up. Okay, it busted through the top of the trend line, so that's indicator number two to put in a sell, and then it was over my my sell circle here, so I consider that number three, and so that's why I had a stop here. And I should have prefaced this by saying I was sick last weekend, so I didn't get to make a video on Broadcom, but I did have go ahead and put a stop there for that reason. Sold one here, and then I had a buy set in for down here at like an average price on all this volume here. So we did sell one here and then pick up another here, like Friday. So if you're trading the way that I teach on here, hopefully you saw this condition, upper trend, upper RSI, and put in some stop losses here. If not, it's okay. You'll get it on the next one, right? It's not a big loss, but here we're coming back down we are fair market value for Broadcom. So I would say this is a buy, and as this comes down, it's going to be more and more of a buy. I have three at 370. So as this reaches a better and better deal down here, we'll be getting into Broadcom for sure, a little heavier. And as I mentioned before, I'll just go through and put single buys or sells sometimes just as an indicator. Obviously, you can go to the app and pick a price point like 92 right here on Disney, and say, let me know when Disney reaches 92 or below, and it'll give you a notifier. But after a little while, sometimes you get tired of setting those, so you can just if you are interested in buying one at 92, you can skip that step and just put a buy in at 92, right? So because of all this volatility on Disney that's happened over the last couple years, I'm interested, and it seems like it's staying in this fair range of, like, it's not really breaching 120, and it's not really going below 80. Yeah. So that puts me interested in buying around 90 and selling around like 117 at the tops, right? So maybe 115. So that's why I have that there. And then depending when this triggers and I get a notification on my phone, depending on the situation, like if it's all red like this, I might wait and see how far down it goes and wait for it to turn green and then get a few shares, right? Or if it's already green and coming up like this strong one here, I would just go ahead and calculate how much before I meet my max number that I want to buy into Disney, and just go ahead and buy them on the spot. So if you have time to sit at your computer and determine um, each position, how much you want to buy or sell into that, then that's great. You can go ahead and put right here, buy 6 and just let it ride. And honestly, I like to do that. But if you're in a hurry, um, like I am today, I'm gonna go somewhere right after this. I'll just come on here and hit some buys, like Google. Honestly, I want one at an average price down here, and it's not even that won't even be down into the trend down here. But this is such a steep trend that if it comes back down, I'd say we want to be in Google just to get in. Um, Netflix, I went ahead and set another buy because we're at the middle of a trend, and this is at 78. So I would say this is fair price, and it's coming below fair price on this trend. So yeah, I'd grab another one at 78. And honestly, with this RSI, I would say it's a good price now. I just am not big into like entertainment stocks, because me personally, I just prefer stocks that are selling a product, because from a business minded perspective, it's a lot more concrete. You have one of something and you sell that one of something, and then you can put data to the paper and actually have proof in front of you, versus like Netflix or entertainment industry. It's very determined on whether people are subscribing or not, and it's very fluid, and 100 people can, or thousands of people can stop subscribing tomorrow, right? And then inverse of that is 1,000 people could buy subscriptions and start Netflix, in the same week. So these numbers, just like, it can be so volatile that I'm not like I mean, yeah, they're making money, but also they post one stupid movie that everybody hates, and then next thing you know, 100,000 people ban Netflix or whatever and stop buying from them. So it just seems very fluid to me. So I'm not big into. I don't really want to put $5,000 into Netflix, but this, yeah, I just stick with more concrete stuff. At least Meta, I mean, it's very similar, but at least they have some products that they sell, and I don't really care to support them, but don't look at stocks as if I'm supporting them per se. I look at stocks as where can I get in low and then sell it high, and I'm getting paid like by that. I'm profiting off of what they're making. So I don't feel like my money sitting in their stock is really supporting Meta, right? I don't look at it that way. If I buy here and sell, so anyway, I did get in one share here this morning because it tapped this buy circle, and it's way lower on this trend analysis. And then when it gets up to like 680 or 700, I would be interested in selling that. We'll see where Meta goes, but Meta does have. I mean, yes, they're making money off of advertisements and Facebook and Instagram, but also they have some hard products, right? They got Meta glasses and goggles and things like that. So we'll see where they take off to. Berkshire has been trading sideways for quite some time. We're going to see where they go, but they are overall bullish. So we're kind of looking for a bull flag on that. And I just drew this trend line here and explained how I was doing it, and then I wasn't recording. So let's go back to that in a second, and I'll show you. I haven't done a video on trend lines yet, but it's pretty easy, and I'll make one coming up soon. I have two things that I want to do really bad, so that's futures videos and trend lines. So we'll get on that coming soon if you stay tuned. Constellation Energy is low, 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 low on the trend, low on the RSI, oversold condition. So to me, it's a buy. You know, we'll get in. We're gonna see where this red takes us, and maybe tomorrow, see if it starts to turn or something. One thing that you can do with something like this, say, okay, this is a certain buy, and I would be interested in buying this right now, but I want to wait and see if it goes any lower. What you can actually do is come up above it. So we're at 254. You can come above it at 260 and hit a buy. It's going to call it a buy stop, but you hit buy, trailing stop. So this is interesting because you're used to seeing this as a trailing stop in a sell condition. So like over here, you would put it here, and as the market grew, it would trail that and then trigger the trail as it dipped. This is going to be the inverse of that. This is going to trail it downwards, and then whenever the market flips, it's going to buy. So it's going to help you get the lower price. We're going to trail that at, what did we say it was? 254, and we'll go for 260, 262, 263 maybe. So that's $6, $7, $8, $9. Okay, so we'll hit buy, trail, and then we're just gonna go like $8, and then down here it shows you your stop price 262, and we'll hit we'll just do 2 for now. They are 254, so that would be $500 added to that. Okay, and then let's see how many we have before we do that. Oh yeah, so we only have $500, so this will put us up to 1,000. And then we hit buy, and then what that's gonna do is we have 262 right here, trail. So our trail is right here, and as this continues down lower and lower, it'll trail lower and lower. And when it flips and hits that price, we'll buy 2 shares. You typically want to, if you're going to do a trailing buy, you kind of want to be, give it a little space. Like you don't want to do $2 on a share like this for 250. You want to be a little bit gapped, $9, $10. If you trail it too closely, it will it'll be more likely that it's going to bounce up and trigger your trade. So that being said, Constellation is looking like a buy. GE is at the top of a lot of volume, honestly. 330 is what we just hit up here. So that would be somewhat interesting as a sell, but it's in the middle of this trend. So I'm not really going to sell right here, because if I sold here, I would just be interested in buying it back in this range, and then it's so bullish on the overall trend that I just want to stay in it until it's way up. So when we see GE reach a point where it's like way up 385 or 400, I might be interested in selling and trying to grab it lower, but I'm in a little bit more long term on GE. And Tesla, we were hoping for this to be the bounce right here that continues to get to the sell circle. Unfortunately, it dipped again, but the good news is it stopped here and it's turning green again. So we'll see if this eventually hits our, we're looking at like 480 up here. We're hoping to get a good rise on that. It's very average price right now for the trend at 400. So yeah, we're waiting on Tesla. If it gets lower, we'll buy. If it gets higher, we'll sell. But this, we're still in the middle of this trend right here, for sure. And on Berkshire, what? Just a quick like chart analysis. This is what I did. So this is dating back to 2021, and this is overall. And so basically, you would just grab the tops as far as you can see. So it would be way up here. Let's delete this because I'm pretend like I didn't already do this. So typically when you draw a trend, you would get the top here and the top here, right? And then that's the highest part of the trend, and then that would be where you would want to sell at, or the top of the new high will probably, the probability of it breaching that new high is not very great. Right. And then, so, but what I like to do is if it's a peak, like a crazy peak that is not anywhere near the rest of the volume, like these two, I'll find the next volume down, which is like right here. So I'll come down a little bit, and it's okay that these two peaks breach out a little bit because you basically are chasing like where the odds are. So I want the amount of times that it reaches the top of the trend to be more times. So if it's up here, right, then this is just fair price. It's just right in the middle, and I would be, when I see that visually, I'm not thinking that that's a sell, right? But if I come down to the next point right here and touch it, and I'm equidistant from here to that peak and from here to that peak, so it's still a straight trend headed in the same direction. Now what that means is when I reach this point or this point, those would look like sells to me. So it's just a sort of a playing a trick on your eyes. These don't look like sells so much when they're in the middle of the trend, and then down here I would have sold them, so they would be profits. So that's why I like to cut the mountain peaks a little bit and do that. And then you can see I grab the 1, 2, 3 is very lined up with these three, and then all the way to the fourth one here. And then usually I have this, if you scroll down on the settings, I have this extended, and it extends your trend line. In this case, I'm going to uncheck it so that it's back down to here. That way I can show you that this is actually sort of turning, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, and then it actually grabbed both of these, 4, 5. So this is dipping below that lower trend, and it's trading sideways for a while. So what I would do here is grab a trend channel and look at a lot of these bottoms and just basically grab, I see the big peak here, and then another one that's actually back in here. This one's a little up high that matches here. So you could grab this one to show these bottoms, or this one over here, which would match this one. Okay, and then when you extend that upwards, just look for the most peaks that it's going to hit. So you see one, I see this one here that I'm hitting, and then this here. So that's sort of a sideways trend that we're hitting. And essentially, like, this is sort of slowing down and trading sideways. So this creates a new channel that you can trade. You can buy down here and then sell up here if you're interested. I would be more inclined to buy the bottoms here and then not sell the top, because this is an overall bullish trend. So to get out here might be kind of silly, because this could be a bull flag. And then a bull flag basically is, it's it's going, and then it comes down, and then this could extend out of here like that. So so it'd be kind of silly to sell here if it is a bull flag and busts out of this trend over here. If it trades sideways for a while and then busts out over here, if you sold within this trend and it continues to rise, you're missing out. So I would use this cautiously and maybe buy the bottoms throughout here, but not sell the tops, because it looks like it's going to break through at some point. And that being said, you do have to pay attention a little bit to this level 2 data. There's a huge red bar here all the way out to here, and that's 6,200 if you watch right here, 6,200 contracts. So 6,200 sell volume right here. It looks like the bulk of the shareholders is trying to keep it below this 500 range for at least a little while. So not sure what they're waiting on, but I would watch this level 2 a little closely, and then see if it dips down, and then you could definitely buy here and then play that on the long term. But a couple more things that I'm watching right now is Honda, since we got in at this low RSI here, and it's flipping 25, right? And then when it gets up to the tops of all these peaks, I'll sell roughly half of the shares, and then if it keeps going, we'll sell some more. Don't mind holding onto it a little bit to see if it gets higher, but $200 is not bad for just I bought those right here, so that was April 13th, or yeah, May, maybe the beginning of May, and so it's been 1 month, and that's $200. So we'll see what that brings us up here, and that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you found this helpful if you're following along. And another weird thing is that FedEx split and opened another IPO, I believe. It's called FDXF, which I have never purchased, and so because I've owned shares in FedEx, then it duplicated to FDXF. So now I have and you can see when it started, which was June 1st. So now I have a 0.00094 shares of FDXF. So that's interesting. I'll be reading into that, but I have not gone over some of the other stocks that I monitor in this video, but I will be in the future. Looking for UPS to recover, looking for AutoZone to recover, so I can get out of some of that equity, because I'm in heavy. Well, AutoZone just keeps disappointing. Wow, they're doing like UPS did, down, down, down. So AutoZone's a good buy right there. Look at that big loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth time it's hit. 1, 2, 3, fourth time it's hit right here. Just keeps getting lower. So man, that would be a good buy, but I'm in as much as I want to be. I've already covered here and covered here, so I bought here and bought here to bring this average down. So I'll be waiting for a break even on that. All right, guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found this useful. Stay tuned, subscribe if you're not already, and follow along. I'll be doing a futures video coming up soon, and I'll make a video on trend lines coming up soon, and how I do chart analysis. But if you haven't checked out some of my other videos, please do so. I have the margin trading video that it describes how and why I do margin and how it's helpful. And that's it for this one. So we'll see you on the next one. Peace.